Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good evening. For those who don't know, I am not Rabbi Matt. Rabbi Matt, unfortunately, was called out of town due to a family situation. I'd like to introduce our cantorial soloist, Allison Rosoff, and I'd like everybody to join in a quick rendition of Happy Birthday for our pianist accompanist, Joy Katzenguffey. She's 36. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joy. Happy birthday to you. We make her work for her own supper over there. Tonight we note with great sadness still, after 83 years, that on November 9th and 10th, 1938, what we refer to as Kristallnacht took place in Europe, the night of broken glass. Perhaps it's prophetic that Memorial Day, Veterans Day falls just on the 11th, the day after Kristallnacht. Tonight we're not going to dwell on Kristallnacht, but on spend some time talking about Veterans Day and give thanks to all those who've served in the service of our country. We begin tonight's service with Hine Matov on page 10. Well, she's just left us. It's time for Light These Lights. Allison? Light these lights. Every year there's a confluence, as I said, of two important commemorations in the Jewish calendar. The first takes place on November 9th and 10th, where we mark the observance of what the Europeans are now calling the Great German Pogrom. The Night of Broken Glass is what we call it, Kristallnacht. A wave of anti-Semitic violence that took place in Germany and Austria in 1938 at this time, where many synagogues were set ablaze, Jewish homes, schools, and businesses were vandalized, and close to 100 Jews were killed. Many were arrested and sent to concentration camps. The second commemoration takes place just a day later on November 11th, as I said, Veterans Day, where we celebrate the service of all United States military veterans. This evening we call to mind our congregational connections to Veterans Day and honor members of our community who served in the United States Armed Forces, protecting our democracy, our freedom, and our way of life. The Jewish community has a proud history with U.S. armed forces actually before the U.S. became a country. Jews fought in the Revolutionary War. That history continues today as nearly 10,000 Jewish men and women serve in our nation's military. To all who fight for freedom then, now, and always, you have our gratitude, our deepest gratitude. Veterans Day is a reminder that our nation has been strengthened through the service and sacrifice of so many heroes, and we honor their commitment to our freedom during this Shabbat service. Let us first recall Kristallnacht, where European Jews sadly did not have the protection of the military to protect them from the forces of evil. May the words of Eli, Eli, penned by Hannah Sanish, O God, my God, remind us of the importance of faith, even in the most challenging of moments. We turn now to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem. We turn now to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish. We now turn to page 28, and I ask that we rise for the Baruch Hu. Thank you, Allison. We turn now to page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sails of the stars. Your creator, the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hamar b'riv aravim. On page 33, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. we're seated. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shem kivod, Shem kivod, malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kivod, malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kivod, malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kivod, malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And now we're seated. We continue with the last part of the Shema. On page 41, we read together, "Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace." Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We turn now to page 42 for Hashkivenu. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise now and turn to page 46. God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Eloheinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Magen Abraham, Vezrat Sarah, Magen Mikhael Hathom Rachamim Somlek Noflim Refoetolim Umatir Arjim Menchael Lishaneafo Michamo Kaba Givurot Umidomelach Melech Lemid Umachaye Umachmiya Yeshua Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh ha'olam.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, קדושים בכל יום והלוך הסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני,
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We are seated. The three blessings we cover now. First, for Shabbat, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Prayer, Baruch atah Adonai she'ot l'cha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And for thanks, on page 59, Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha u'chana'eh lehodot. As we pray, of course, we offer our prayer for peace in Ukraine and the countries of Eastern Europe, which are enmeshed in this awful war. We turn to page 60 now. And in the middle of the page, will you join me? Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom. It's time now for our silent prayer, and I think for myself I will concentrate a bit on the veterans who have served us so well and have helped us reach this time, as well as for the people in Ukraine and Eastern Europe who are under the thumb of Mr. Putin's war.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tazim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha
It's now the part of our service where we note those who are suffering and ask for God's help in bringing them back to a full life. Those on the Misha Barak list for this week: Yonatan Reuven Ben Rivka, Charlie Burke, Norma Bloomberg Van Ness, Babs Brown, Manuel Cruz, Evelyn Edelman, Harry Fleisch, John Friedman, Denise Freifeld, Mitchell Freifeld, Sidel Freifeld, Leah Gottlieb, Arnold Miller, Melissa Miller, William Miller, Michael Ranzino, Rabbi Avram Reifer, Kelly Diana Rain, Gary Rosenberg, Hal Rosenberg, Stephanie Ross, Dennis Schulman, Deborah Belkin Shapiro, Jeff Stark, Jen Swan, Sharon Worster, Sophia Young. Are there any others any names you'd like to? Go. Bill? Denise? Yes. Thank you.
My father, George Stark.
My friend Mickey Barker. Page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu
Mikor may the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing Bless those in need of healing with the Ruach Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing. This evening we pay special tribute to the late Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Deerfield, a member of our congregation who passed away not long ago. Born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1923, Eddie graduated from high school in Chicago in 1941. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, he enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Corps. He arrived in the European theater in 1943, served as a radio operator and a gunner in the 303rd Bomb Group in England. Colonel Deerfield flew 30 combat missions over Nazi Germany and occupied Europe, while surviving 2 crash landings and a bailout from a burning bomber
while on those missions. Eddie was honorably discharged in 1945 as a technical sergeant, having been awarded a Distinguished Flying Cross, the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters and a Purple Heart. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Reserve in 1949 and called back into service in 1951, where he served in the 1st Radio Broadcasting and Leaflet Group, a psychological warfare unit as a commander based in Korea. He retired from military service in 1983, having proudly served our country for over 4 decades. Both Eddie Deerfield and his late wife, Mary Lee, were generous supporters and beloved members of this congregation, sponsoring our bi-monthly temple newsletter, the Ner Tamid, or Eternal Light. At this time, it's my honor and pleasure to invite Lynn Rosenthal, a friend of Eddie's, to share a few personal words in his honor.
Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Deerfield was my hero. I first met Eddie and Mary Lee at Temple. They always sat in the 3rd row on the left side, receiving friends before and after services. Their warmth and congeniality was on full display as congregants brought their friends to meet them. In addition, Eddie and Mary Lee never missed Rabbi Klein's Passover Seders. Many congregants knew that Eddie led the Veterans Day services at our temple, but few also knew that Eddie assisted Miranda in the temple office. When Mary Lee passed away, Eddie became mostly homebound. For a while, though, he would enjoy lunch at Bon Appetit with Dean and Irv. Irv took Eddie to MacDill's Air Force Commissary, where Eddie would salute the base. That was Dean. I'm sorry. And during his birthday and special occasions, Rabbi Klein and I would ensure Eddie had his favorite meal, a barbecue dinner from Sonny's and brownies for dessert. Unfortunately, Eddie's Parkinson's took hold, and Eddie made it back to Temple one more time for an afternoon and Yizkor service and break the fast. Even in a wheelchair, Eddie was the star congregant, greeting and making new friends. Always when I'd go over to Eddie's house and ask how he was feeling, he would make a reference to his age. He lived to be 99. Eddie loved hearing about the temple happenings and appreciated the Passover meals Rabbi and Miranda provided, and the sisterhood's Rosh Hashanah basket. Eddie was a special friend to me. I always knew he appreciated me being there for him and with him. When I'd call, our phone calls were long and peppered with his witticisms. He was in rare form on his birthdays, too. I am very thankful to have met his son and thankful for the excellent care Eddie received from his most recent caregiver, Maria. I'm sure if Eddie were here, he would thank Rabbi Klein especially, and Rabbi Berger for their devotion to his well-being and his mental health. Also, Eddie often spoke of Miranda and Alex's kindness to him. Thank you for honoring Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Deerfield this Veterans Day. Rest in peace, my friend. You will be missed.
I'd also like to call Bruce Hadberg and Howard Markowitz up to the front to talk about their experiences.
What's that? Say a few words?
Yeah.
About what?
Your military service.
Oh, about my military service. Well, many years ago, I entered the Air Force Reserve 1962 or 63. Served 6 months active duty, and I did a weekend a month for 6 years. Also 2 weeks summer camp. I learned a lot in the service. I made a lot of friends, and those memories will stick with me forever. And that's about it.
This is a repeat of what was said at the Veterans Brunch on Sunday. I was not drafted. I was an ROTC at the University of Pittsburgh. I'd signed my contract to go in the Air Force 2 months before the first lottery. My number came up 18. They would have had me anyway. Graduated, I became a second lieutenant, was a supply officer. I'm Jewish, I run money and merchandise, that's perfect. My first assignment was to a radar site that you will hate me. It overlooked San Jose, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Carmel, and on a clear day you could stand on top of the radar tower when it was not turning and see the top of the Golden Gate Bridge. I ran supply, PX, the commissary, the chow hall, the motor pool, the budget, contract administration, disaster preparedness, planning, and anything else they wanted. Actually, it was wonderful having that breadth of knowledge. I was going to school nights for my master's. Uncle Shmuel paid for that, and I managed to get halfway through it. I was then told I had to take a remote tour. My choices were Alaska, Iceland, Greenland, Turkey, or Taiwan, and I took, there you go, Taiwan, yes. I sold out to the Warm Weather Air Force. When I got there, I was given a printout about yay thick. They said sign the last page, which I did. At that point, every piece of equipment on the island was mine. I had about a $35 million account. I had about 33 people to help me manage it. And I joked that at the ripe old age of 24, I learned creative writing. I learned to write the performance reviews for the 2 senior sergeants who worked with me, who took really good care of me. I got out. I look back, a couple of comments. One of the comments that was made Sunday that I'd like to repeat is that everyone should serve a year or 2 in some sort of national service. It's quite broadening. I'm still in touch with people I served with, believe it or not. We had a 50-year reunion in April for those of us who all got our commissions at Pitt. It was a magical event. Unfortunately, there were only a few who could attend out of the 24 because of COVID. But we all knew each other when you were, well, younger and dumber. I guess we're older and dumber. I look back very fondly. I will also add, as a non-paid political announcement I came up with, Hadberg's first law of flag flying. The law states very simply, the larger the flag you fly, the less likely you are to have served. Those who've served don't make a big deal of it. We did it honorably. It was our job. I know that sounds weird. It was our job. We appreciate the accolades, but at the time we got out, people spit at us. It wasn't real popular, but I certainly wouldn't give up the years again. I'm glad to have done it. On Sunday, they had asked us to bring our pictures. I don't know if this is pretty outrageous. It's my actual Air Force picture. You can ask what happened to you. I know. Age does that, but I look back fondly. I'm glad I did it for my country. By the way, I was the first Jew a lot of people had met. I was in Taiwan. I was the Jewish lay leader. That's the important part. It does read it. There were, out of 1,100 people, I use the term admitted loosely because I found out from the Catholic and Protestant chaplains that when you go to your new duty assignment, you fill out a little card with your name and your phone number, and of course, what religion. There's Catholic and Protestant were full-time, and they said that if someone wrote no preference in small letters, they had no religious preference. But if they wrote no preference in very large letters, they were Jewish. I was given the inside dope on the religion in the Air Force, at least. I ran services, depended who showed up. There were some people who were, their mothers were Jewish, but they weren't brought up Jewish, so we did an awful lot of English. But then there were some, if they weren't there, there were some pretty heavy Dubliners, and I'd pass it over to them. They could handle it. But we adapted. Again, fond memories. It brought me certainly closer to Judaism. That's it. End of paid political announcement. Thank you for your attention.
And that round of applause really should go to everyone who has served our country. Thank you, all three of you. It's time for the Olenu. It is time for Kaddish, which you'll find on page 294 of your prayer books, or behind me on the wall. Tonight we pay honor to the memories of 4 people who have died in the past 30 days, the period called Shloshim, pardon me. Dennis Sherman, the husband of Jody Sherman. Pierre Delacre, friend of Tom Rose. Michael McCoby, friend of Tom Rose. And Malka Singer, the mother of Nancy Patchen. We also recognize that this is the anniversary, this week is the anniversary of the deaths of the following people: Lois Bach, Charlotte Bernard, William Borger, David Kaplan, Mary Chapman, Abraham Kodish, David Donaldson, Samuel Epstein, Rose Geyer, Lester Levy, Sylvia Mann, Phyllis Mann, Sanford Oiff, Larry Plevin, Wesley Reeves, Jules Roth, Eva Sandstrom, Rita Silverman, Eva Stein, Norman Swoy, Morris Tave, Morris Turner, Mindela Waxman, Bertha Weiss, and Peter Wind. Are there any other names that you'd like to add to the list for tonight? Thank you. Let's all rise, if you will, please, and recite the Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach cherutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayakon u'yomikon u'kei Yisrael, v'hagalah u'vman kariv v'imru Yehei shemei Rabbah v'mevarak le'olam amei. V'tbarach
Shabbat, v'yishtabach, v'yitahar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shalmik zusha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol b'rechat v'shita, tushbekata v'nechmata, da'amiran b'yoma v'ibru, amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Hosei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen.
You may be seated.
Thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together as our grateful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
It's my pleasure now to bring forward the little guy, Zach Bandes, who represents our board, by the way. Zach is a member of the board for the past year and a half, and he has announcements for us.
I have to finish my challah first. Hi, everybody. Many thanks to Ed, Allison, and Joy for a beautiful service. Our tech crew, Mike and Nicole, in the back, thank you very much. And mazel tov to the Zimmerman family as Eden becomes a bat mitzvah. We thank all of our veterans for their military service and patriotism. And join us next Friday, November 18th at 7 p.m. for our Lador Vador intergenerational Shabbat service featuring our 5th and 6th grade religious school classes. Our Shabbat morning minyan on Saturday, November 19th at 9 a.m. will be led by Ron Gilberg. Bar and Bat Mitzvah students will receive a gift certificate to the Sisterhood gift shop. Join us for the Interfaith Thanksgiving service at Avat Shalom on Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. Following this service, please join us for an Oneg Shabbat in the social hall. Thank you.
You did it. And I would like to underscore the Thanksgiving service, if you would. It's going to be here. It's been several years since it was located. The service took place here, and we really would like to be good hosts for the people who will be coming. Turn, if you will, to page, although most of us don't need to, page 376 for our closing hymn. That song, of course, was written by a gentleman by the name of Israel Balin, known to most of us as Irving Berlin. I get a funny lump in here every time I hear it. We close tonight's service with the prayer for health that has become a custom here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al shmirat hanefesh, for the blessing and the mitzvah to protect life. Thank you all for coming. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to everybody in the audience.